Welcome back, everybody, to 31 1980s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my favorite horror movies from the 1980s. Number 12, we have a movie that breaks my heart that it did not make the top 10, but this is one that I saw recently this year, and it stuck with me so much that I had to put it on the list, and I was shocked that it made it this high. And at number 12, we have Possession. Again, Possession is a movie that I only saw this year, and I was debating on putting it on this list, but it's a movie that I have not stopped thinking about since I watched it, and the more I thought about it, the more I loved it, and the more I've watched it, the more I've loved it. But I'm going to admit Possession is a movie that is not for everybody. There are going to be people who love it, there are going to be people who hate it, and there's probably people who are going to think it's okay. I understand every side of this one here, but for me, I personally love Possession. And Possession is a movie that I see making it higher on the list as I see it more. I've seen it only recently, but it would not surprise me if it eventually made my top 10. But for now, number 12 is the perfect spot for it. For me. For me, this being my personal list, 12 is the perfect spot for it. So, Possession is about the destruction of a marriage. You have this man, Mark, played by Sam Neill, and his wife named Anna, played by Isabelle Adjani. Isabelle Adjani is great in this movie. She's slowly becoming one of my favorite actresses. She gives such a great performance in this movie.
But at the same time, I know there's the third possibility, like cancer or madness. But cancer or madness contort reality. The possibility I'm talking about pierces reality.
Mark is a spy, and he's just come back from a mission, and his wife has become distant, and he finds out that Anna wants a divorce, and he finds out that Anna has been cheating on him with another man. And it's clear that this marriage should end. It's clear that this relationship should not continue, but Mark is desperate to keep his marriage alive and keep Anna in his life, despite the fact that it's not good for everybody. And that's something that happens a lot in real relationships. There are relationships that should end, and these people are not good for each other, but they just keep hanging on, and by hanging on, they make things so much worse. But of course, this is a horror movie, so not everything is as it seems, and I am not going to have any spoilers in this. I did a review on this. If you do want more details, you can check out that review, but I encourage you to watch the movie before you watch the review, because I do talk spoilers in that review. The movie has weird over-the-top performances, but they work. And the reason they work so well is these are people who are thinking with their emotions. And I'm sorry to say this, but emotions are not rational. When you're overcome with emotion, you don't always make the best decisions. And these are people who are only thinking with their emotions, which makes sense why these performances are so over the top. There's just something off about this movie that creates that sense of dread that I love so much. It's kind of hard to describe without going into spoilers, but I'm not going to go into spoilers here. Isabelle Adjani as Anna steals the whole show in this movie. She gives such a great performance of someone who is drifting into madness. This is someone who should not be in a relationship, much less a marriage, because they are so mentally unstable, but her husband won't let her go. Again, these are people who should divorce, but they're not divorcing, really. They keep coming back to each other even though they should not. And the mystery is around who or what Anna's new lover is, and that's where it gets into the horror elements of things, and I gotta stop there, but it's something I personally love, but I can understand people saying, wow, that's weird. This is more of an artsy horror movie, but not in an abstract way, just in the way everything is done. One of my favorite scenes is when Isabelle Adjani has this freak out in a tunnel. She's just going through something here, and then she just starts freaking out and screaming, and she has groceries, and she starts throwing them around the tunnel. It's a fantastic performance. Isabelle Adjani is fearless in this movie. The way the story is, it would be easy for these performances to come across as goofy, but the way everybody handles it, it just works. I can't explain it, it just works. Not to say that there aren't good horror elements in here. There are a few kills, and they're very, very good. Not necessarily flashy, but raw. Very raw. This isn't the kind of horror movie where the kills need to be flashy. They just need to have the kills, and given the story being told around them, it makes so much more of an impact. But don't go into this movie expecting a high body count. That's not where the horror comes from here. The horror of this movie comes from the fact that these are two people in a toxic relationship, and they can't seem to find a way to get away from each other, even though they should. This is a movie about people who have an idea of what they want their partner to be like, instead of just accepting who their partner is. One of the reasons this movie sticks with me so much is when I was a kid, my parents got divorced, and I think that's one of the reasons why it resonates with me a little more. Because one thing I say a lot is, as you get older, your tastes change. And given your life experiences, you appreciate other movies more because you can identify with them a little more. So I'm able to identify with Possession a little more because of my life experiences. But that's not to say people who don't have those experiences can't enjoy this movie. I think anybody can enjoy this movie. I can understand people hating this movie the first time they watch it, but then end up loving it as they think about it more. I can also understand people loving it the first time, but then disliking it as they watch it more. But either way, this is a movie that you're not going to be able to stop thinking about. I have watched this movie multiple times now, and it's just grown on me even more, and like I said, I have not stopped thinking about it since I've seen it.
What's gonna happen to us?
It's up to you!
Stop coming!
I have to go!
I'll follow you!
Don't even try!
As soon as it was done, I had my own theories about the movie, but I wanted to see other people's theories about this movie. This is a movie that warrants discussion. I completely understand if you do not like it, but I guarantee it's a movie that you won't be able to stop thinking about after you see it. So, Possession. It's a movie that's not for everybody, but I absolutely love it. I do recommend giving it a watch this Halloween season. I don't know if it's a good pick for a movie night if you're getting a bunch of friends together and you want to watch something. I think it's better in a small group. Just understand you're going to get into something that isn't your typical horror movie, but whether you like it or whether you love it, I guarantee you will not be able to forget it.